Our first guest is one of my faves of all time. He's successful, he's got a mean swagger, and he's not afraid to say it like he means it. Give it up for everyone's favorite boardroom billionaire, the one and only Donald Trump.
Nice group. Nice group. Very nice.
You know you're one of my faves.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I like you too.
Thank you.
A lot.
Congratulations on the success of Celebrity Apprentice.
Thank
It
you.
just got picked up for another season.
Right.
So, you know I love the show. I love Celebrity Apprentice and I love Regular Apprentice.
Right.
But without Regular Apprentice, we would have never gotten to know people like Omarosa and
true.
Bill Rancic.
That's true.
Are we ever going to go back to Regular?
Well, you know, a lot of people ask that question, and I love it. It became the #1 show on television, and we did discover Omarosa.
Yeah.
You know, the amazing thing about Wendy, you and her were really at it for a while.
We were.
Right? I remember you told me I won't ever talk, but she is sort of like
We sat next to
friends,
each other at the Sex and the City movie, remember? And that's when we
Yeah.
talked about it. But you know what?
You were not a big fan at one point, but I think you are now.
I'm a woman, and I'm allowed to change my mind.
You
We've
changed it?
made up.
That's very good.
I like Omarosa.
So it is possible that happens. I must tell you, from my standpoint, I sort of love what we're doing. You know, so many of the celebrity, everybody wants to go. We must turn down 5 for everyone we take in terms of the celebrity, because it's been so good for the career. You know, the hardest one was first Celebrity Apprentice, because they didn't want to be fired.
Right.
And then with Joan and with the tremendous success of the people, Piers Morgan, you know, everybody that was on, not just the winners, because Trace came in second and he became the biggest country singer.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Omarosa's never won.
And Omarosa's never won, and look at Omarosa.
Exactly.
She's doing quite well. So, you know, it's something we would think about, but I love, just personally, I love going and seeing these people that I've seen all my life and saying, you're fired. Right?
That's an ego thing.
Yeah, that's more ego. I think that's more ego, but it could happen. A lot of people have asked for it.
So, you know, this past season was really riveting, and, you know, the question that a lot of people have is, why did you fire some of the most entertaining people early, like LaToya Jackson and Omarosa?
It's a great question. The show does well because I'm honest. If I wanted to be an entertainer, and, you know, I have to... when they deserve to be fired, I have to fire them. I've had many cases where I didn't want to fire somebody from an entertainment standpoint, but if I don't do it, it's not going to be the right thing. I have to do the right thing.
I like that.
And sometimes, I mean, you know, sometimes I fire people. I would have loved to have kept Dennis Rodman longer.
Yes.
But it was, like, impossible. If I would have done that, I would have taken tremendous heat. You know, one person that was so popular, and I took a lot of heat for this one, firing Little John. People love Little John. They loved him, and so do I, by the way. I just saw him.
Yeah.
I have to do what's right, and entertainment has to be second. But a lot of times for entertainment, I wish I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But I think the credibility that I've built up for the show, that's what makes it successful ultimately. But it's hard. It's hard.
The show is addictive. It really is. So, one of the more interesting things that happened this past season was when LaToya accused Omarosa of killing Michael Clark Duncan, her fiance.
Tough.
And it all kind of went down here on our show, from your show, where Omarosa called LaToya LaToya, and then there was a lawsuit that Omarosa was threatening. How was that behind the scenes?
Well, I can tell you it was rough, and they really disliked each other. But Omarosa was very rough with LaToya, and I love Omarosa, as you know.
Yes.
People said, is she really as bad as that? I said, actually, she's worse. But you know what? No. But we love her. Do we all love Omarosa in a sort of crazy way? And, you know, look, hey,
she gives good TV.
She was with me when we became the #1 show on television.
Yep.
So what am I going to say? I don't like her. I mean, she's great.
Yeah.
But I will say she treated LaToya very, very tough during the show.
Well, she treated Star Jones
She treated
rough
probably
also.
everybody. But she treated him rough. And now they're, I guess, in some kind of a dispute. So you tell me what's happening with that.
Okay.
Because, you know, once they get fired, I say to hell with
Right. And that's where I pick up the rest of the story.
Me, what happened?
Okay. So, Omarosa was supposed to be sending legal papers to serve for the lawsuit to LaToya. LaToya came to the show and said she never received anything, so I guess that was just Omarosa talking, and everybody's gone their separate ways, and neither still likes one another, according to what LaToya told us.
Well, it was tough stuff. I mean, there's no question about it, but what are you going to do?
And, well, it was also tough on Bret Michaels, but I have to say I agreed with you. Bret Michaels was the first one fired in this season's Celebrity Apprentice. He said that he needed, after you fired him, to sit down and have a man-to-man chat with you. Do you do that?
Well, I did. Look, first of all, I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
But I think you and I probably, for the same reason, we have a certain number of winners. It's very hard to win. We'll have 16 people, 14 people, all of them are celebrities.
Right.
And, you know, the other ones all agreed, and you know, the offer was made. They all agreed to sit on my side of the table, like Piers and Joan, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So they sat with Ivanka, and they'd be the advisor, and they were kings and queens, right? Because they had won. Bret didn't want to do that. He wanted to go back on the show, and I said, you have to be kidding. And over the years, I'm a big fighter, a big fight fan. And I've seen these champions, these great champions, and they retire, and everybody loves them. And then about 2 years later, they say, I want to come back. And they get their ass kicked,
right? Right. And so their legacy is failure as opposed to winning.
I mean, how many people like that do we know? And I said, you don't really want to do this, but he did want to do it. Now, in all fairness to him, he wanted to do it because he wanted to raise money for his charity. So that's okay.
I get it.
But I still think he shouldn't have done it. And I was a little angry, and I fired him #1. And he, you know, he took it hard.
Well, he's a good guy. He's going to actually be here next Wednesday. He's been here before on the show, but I don't think that Bret should have been on the firing side of the table. He should have been a king.
Well, you know, when I first stood there, I said, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe, do you think I can? Now, look, from a human standpoint, and I said I always do what's right, but do you think I can really say you win again?
No.
In all fairness.
No.
I've got 14 celebrities.
Of course.
He won. Now I'm going to let him win again?
No, of course. All right, so let's move along to Penn Jillette and Trace Adkins. Two great guys. Who, does it come down to who raises the most money? And we've talked about this before.
Well, it's an advantage. And, you know, I'll tell you what, Trace has now won over $1 million just on the regular shows for charity. All going to charity.
Right.
And Penn has done really well. I mean, they're both great players. I would say that that's certainly an element, but not all the time. I mean, I've had winners and all the way where they didn't raise as much money, but they were better leaders, better whatever. So there are a lot of things. Money is one of the things. Now, in this case, you know, it used to go to you. Now it goes to charity, which is great. That's another thing, by the way, I like about the celebrity. The money raised goes to charity.
Goes to charity. One more thing before we go into a break. You can't talk to Donald Trump without talking about his Twitter wars. And you are to the point now where you don't just fight with celebrities. You fight with John Q. Public. And you just get at him. That is so entertaining to the rest of us.
Well, you know, I've got millions of followers. By the way, @real Donald Trump. I love it. It's crazy. It's like eating peanuts. No, it's true. You have the same thing.
Yeah, but I don't sit and call people losers and stuff.
No, I go at them.
You're so...
No. And I'm sure you probably have this too, but the level of hatred is unbelievable. I mean, the things, you have the worst hair. You are the most unattractive human being I've ever, you know, stuff. No, it's true. And
then he gets right back at him, which is very entertaining.
I hit him back.
Listen, up next, everybody, you're going to get free advice from Donald Trump in a special edition of Ask Wendy and the Donald. It is time for a special edition of Ask Wendy and the Donald. So how can we help?
How you doing, Wendy and Mr. Trump?
How are you?
I'm Judy, and I'm married to a wonderful man, but he's a golfaholic.
Oh.
He's very, very good. But I'd like him to spend just a little bit less time on the course and more time with me.
Now, Donald, you're a golfer.
And I'm an expert on this subject.
Okay.
Let him play golf. Tell him I love you. Does he make a good living?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let him play golf.
He does.
Tell him to enjoy himself. You love him. Don't take him off the golf course, because otherwise he may have to fly the coop. I doubt it, but he may fly the coop. Let him play. Encourage him. Don't do that. I've seen too many wives when I've seen it.
Right.
They say, oh, you're playing golf, you're playing golf. Guess what? One day they go home, he's not there.
When you take him out of a habit that he really loves, he might turn on you like a wild dog. But you know what I would suggest? Does he play like at a club where there's a clubhouse?
Yes. Oh,
Can you get a cute golf outfit and maybe drive the golf?
I do golf.
All right. Well,
I do.
You might not golf on his level, so he might not want to play with her. But
You just let him play and tell him to enjoy himself, and he's going to love you even more. I'm telling you.
Okay. There you go. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got our next person. Have a seat, Judy.
Thanks, Judy.
Judy's still laughing. Judy, take each of our advice and figure something out in between, you know?
All right. How you doing?
How you doing? I like your classy necklace. Did you win that here?
No, I did. Oh, actually, I saw it on the show.
Yeah, we gave those away.
I did, and I was jealous I wasn't here, but I went online and got one.
Okay, good. So go ahead.
Okay, hi, Mr. Trump.
How are you?
I work really long hours, and my boyfriend is starting to think that I may be cheating on him.
Whoa. Are you cheating?
I am not, Donald. How do I assure him that when I'm at work, I'm actually doing work and not someone else?
Now, Donald, I'm going to let you answer first. And your wife is a businesswoman, so I'm sure she works late sometimes as well.
But I think if he has that in the back of his mind, I mean, do you love him that much?
Absolutely.
Can you live without him?
No, I cannot.
Because, you know, if
live
he
without him.
has that now in the back of his mind, that could be trouble.
It's only going to
For
get
the
worse.
future, I'm saying.
How long have you been with him?
12 years.
And how old are you?
32.
And why boyfriend? He's not...
Yeah, exactly.
That's another show.
Oh, well, here's what I would suggest. You tell him that you're working late, and he better not, to prove his point, try to roll up at the job and do something embarrassing like, where is she, or cruise the parking lot.
Okay.
If he can't take your word for it, then you know what, after 12 years, maybe this is not the guy for you. And if we have to have another show on why it is you want to get married and he hasn't married you, then maybe they need to break up.
And you know what? I'm looking at you. You will have no trouble getting guys.
Okay, we have to, thank you, have a seat. We have time for one more quick question. Hi, Sassy.
How you doing, Wendy?
How you
Hello,
doing?
Mr. Trump.
Nice seeing you.
I've been working in construction for 11 years, and when I find a potential guy and I tell them what I do, I think they get a little intimidated, and now I'm considering keeping it from them until they get to know me. Do you think that's a good idea?
I wouldn't do that. No, you should be proud of it. And you know, I build a lot of things, lots of buildings.
Yes,
you probably
I do.
have heard that. And more, I see more and more women doing jobs that you would have never seen 20 years ago, and they're making a lot of money.
Who
and
are these
they're great.
Neanderthals that you're dealing with?
Be proud of it.
What you do, never lie about it, and you keep dating until you find a guy who's going to accept it. Who are these stupid men? Good luck, sister. Thank you. Everybody, that is Ask Wendy and the Donald. Thank you so much, Donald, for being here again. You guys, make sure that you tune in to the live finale of All-Star Celebrity Apprentice. It's Sunday night at 9 on NBC.